Okay, so we have some big updates to the MrBeast situation. Number one is my own personal calls with MrBeast because it's actually pretty interesting. Number two, the Soggy Cereal videos that people are claiming quote unquote debunks everything and that all the MrBeast allegations are fake. By the way, Soggy left out the fact that he was paid by a MrBeast employee to fly to North Carolina.
You obviously flew to America, right?
Yeah.
Did you cover those costs yourself or did MrBeast in any way pay?
Since it was last moment and very expensive, Dustin, as far as I know, paid for those, and not on a MrBeast card. They said that it was on the card of like literally his name. I want to be completely transparent about that.
Was that said in the video or is it somewhere in your description just to really get it clear that happened?
No, it's not in the video.
I mean, you know, I'm asking for like a kind of like a journalistic standard or something, I guess.
Mr. Journalistic Integrity left out that he was literally paid by one side, and that obviously makes him very biased.
Hey, it's not like there's such a thing as investigative integrity. It's not like there's such a thing as investigative integrity.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get to that. Let's start with my call with MrBeast. So basically, MrBeast reached out to me on Twitter, and then we talked on Discord. And the first call, I wanted to record, right? But he insisted not to record this, that he just wants to chat, which is fine. I said that, okay, we'll just do the interview later. And he just said he wants to shoot the shit, basically. But pretty much in that first call, we just started talking like regular people. We ended up talking about anime, video games, and health and life in general. He used to do these COD commentary videos as well, so he was a commentary YouTuber. And we had a lot in common, very similar interests, and we actually unironically got along very well. Apparently, he has 10,000 hours in League of Legends, which honestly should be a crime. But yeah, it was really weird. He basically just trusted me like a best friend. He sent like super private things about his new show that he's not allowed to show anyone. He completely trusted me after the conversation. He said a lot of stuff that you don't really say in public, you know, you just kind of say to friends. And yeah, that was pretty surprising considering all of the appearances on this channel and all the other channels. You would think that he would hate my guts, but no, he was perfectly cool. He said he'd make the exact same videos if he was me, and he'd totally get the bag as well. We joked that in an alternate universe, we'd actually be friends. So what I concluded was Jimmy himself as a person is chill. He's just another guy. Now, Jimmy, the CEO, that's an alter version. I don't know much about that guy. That guy might just be Heisenberg, okay? I can't speak much about it. I would have been able to if, you know, he let me complete the interview, but he did not. After that, we had a couple more calls just discussing the details of the interview. I had to send him the questions. You know, he just had to approve some of them, say stuff that he can, like, legally answer, he can't legally answer. So, you know, I revised it a ton of times. You know, I had to craft the perfect questions, all of that. And he was super excited, man. He was like, oh my God, finally, I'm getting my side out. But literally last minute, he's like, oh, my team said in person would be better, and that he might do it later on my channel still after another in-person interview. And I said that there's kind of no point for that, and it would be irrelevant because if the other person properly grills you, like he talked about doing it with Colin and Samir, John Yoshire, these are like two podcasters, and he said Oompaville as well. And obviously I said don't do it with like Colin and Samir or whatever because they're not commentary, and that will tank your reputation completely if they don't grill you on it. So I recommended Oompa, of course. After me, I was like, it's best to do it here, but I was like, okay, if you want to do it in person, please choose Oompa out of those guys. And he did. Okay, so that interview is probably going up tomorrow if this video goes up before that. And yeah, people were saying that I'm salty that he did it with Oompa when I recommended him. I literally told him to do it with him. So yeah, I was cool with that decision, but obviously I was annoyed because he literally like wasted 2 of my days and, you know, made me prepare all those questions just to flake like last second. But yeah, obviously he just said sorry for baiting me or whatever. And yeah, that's just what I told you guys in the community post. It wasn't hostile. It wasn't meant to force him to come onto my channel or like guilt tripping or whatever. And it wasn't defending him either. It was literally just the truth. Let's move on to Soggy's videos because man, I've been wanting to respond to this because people think I'm dodging it or something. Please. So Soggy released a new video called The Truth About MrBeast and Dogpack 404. But yeah, people treated this video like the best video on YouTube, the holy grail. And it did introduce new info. and prove that Dogpack got a lot of stuff wrong, but so did Soggy. He just took the word of MrBeast employees as gospel. And he did not mention that they paid for his flight to North Carolina. That is a massive bias and compromises your integrity by leaving that out of the video. And if you think you couldn't fit it in, it was a 1.5 hour video. You have to say if you got paid. It's like, you know, it's like if you're doing a sponsorship for a product, you have to say you were sponsored. Otherwise it compromises, you know, what you're saying. It's literally illegal to do that, right? Now keep in mind, as we go through this video, some of this info was literally impossible for us to know before this video came out. The only reason Soggy knew any of this stuff is because he had access to private information that none of us did, like that Dustin guy reached out to him. Even CoffeeZilla could not get a single interview about anything, but somehow Soggy gets it. And then he sits on his high horse after the fact. You should have known all of this. Like, please. Like, some of this stuff was literally impossible, but yes, I will admit to what stuff I got wrong as well. Now, real quick, some context. The Soggy video came off so much like MrBeast glazing that MrBeast himself literally sent it to every commentary YouTuber begging them to cover it.
I want to be fully transparent here. MrBeast DM'd me, right? And keep in mind, I don't think I've ever spoken to him before in my life. This is the first time he reached out to me, so I'll show the DM on stream. You still probably can't see it as good, but yeah.
Soggy did make a tweet after disavowing that, saying that I think both sides did wrong, but obviously the video did not appear that way. It was like 99% Dogpack sucks, and then 1% MrBeast sucks. Now, what some of you don't know is that Soggy actually made another video before this where he actually lied a shit ton about me. But I want to make it clear before I go over this, do not go to his channel, do not say anything mean. I've already confronted him in private, and I'm sorry to Soggy for making this video, but I literally have to. I mean, to defend my own reputation. Otherwise, it would come off very bad to not update what Dogpack got wrong as well. So the first video is about Slop, and it was mostly about me, and he basically deleted that video, and he cited a reason on his community tab that I was being overly critical of Slop. And because of this, the comments were like, you should have left it up. But let me add another reason to that. That shit was just lying about me. So real quick, let's go through this first video.
Videos are stretched to the 20 to 30 minute mark without adding anything of value for the viewer. And at this point, every time I open my feed, I feel like it's filled with the exact same videos I've already seen 1,000 times before, but just about a different topic.
Okay, so he says I add no value to the viewer. Apparently millions of people are watching for zero value. Apparently all of you guys are just brain dead. You should be watching pseudo-intellectuals, such as people who take 3 months for a video and then don't disclose they got paid. Maybe the value is me. Maybe the value is summarizing drama that people don't have time for. That people actually have lives and they just want to hear what's going on quickly and in one place. And the value comes from the way I deliver it, the humor, the jokes, the personality, the memes, the way it's talked about. And you may think it's useless, but other people love it and they're allowed to watch.
30-minute follow-up videos to the same topic as yesterday, with only a tweet worth of new information.
So he scrolled through my entire saga of MrBeast, KSI, and Logan, and then he says it's 30-minute videos with only a tweet worth of new info. Again, straight up lie. Show me one video out of the entire saga where there's only one tweet of new info. They are packed to the brim with content. That's why the retention is so high. It's all new information. I don't know why you think people are just stupid watching the exact same video with the exact same thumbnail 50 times. Obviously, it's different videos. Obviously, they're watching updates to the story. And yeah, the thumbnails are funny. It's literally a meme.
I'm sorry, but how the f do you make 3 20-minute videos for a total of 1 hour about like a single cool 10 DDM tweet and like 5 dumbass KSI and Logan Paul tweets in backlash to the release of a processed food product?
How do you make a lot of videos on X and Y and Z and A and B and C? I mean, you just answered your own question. He tries to say it's one tweet, then realizes, whoops, you actually got 50 tweets. We got XYZ drama, we got XYZ response, update here and there. That's how I made so many videos, because there are so many things going on.
But with every video that is well researched, there are hundreds that are somehow double their length, containing nothing but misinformation.
Okay, so let's see what I actually said in my video. Dogpack has just dropped his third exposed video on MrBeast, and it goes over some of the most serious allegations yet. Disclaimer, everything in this video is alleged. All parties talked about are innocent until proven guilty. Anything said or speculated is my opinion and not a fact. I'm simply reporting the news. So some of the important important points in the video include allegations against James Warren. Some of the important points in the video include allegations against James Warren, which clearly states that I'm not accusing him. It's me saying Dogpack is making said allegations. That is a factually true statement that these allegations were made. I will still say I'm really sorry about that because it's not cool. And, you know, Dogpack should have done much more research before an allegation, and I should have done more research before spreading such an allegation. So again, I want to say I'm sorry about that. I legitimately did not know at that time. If I knew the truth at the time of making that video, I swear to you, I would not have included it at all. I'm sorry about it. I realize that now, and it won't happen again. Also want to say that I did correct the record in a future video in an update. He basically put out this tweet where he said that the allegations he made against James Warren, the Secret Beast CEO, for DV particularly were likely not true, which undermines a lot of his credibility. I gotta be fair, I gotta call out BS when I see it, so that was definitely a huge L for Dogpack.
Where 70% of the videos is just a replay of Dogpack's content that's already filled with lies and manipulation, and the remaining 30% is just you making the most slanderous and uninformed statements possible. Even at my own misinformation defamatory statements on top, like more Pegasus.
Once again, complete lie. Of course, he gives 0 examples of this because I never did that. I just covered Dogpack's allegations as this is what he is saying. Now, I did add my own opinions on the situation, which I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to have. That's the point of the videos. I still think the videos are fake. I still think he's shady. You can think different, but that's not called slander. That's called having an opinion. So Soggy does this thing where he's lumping me in the same boat as Dogpack, which is not even close to what I did. I'm reporting allegations like a news source does. Now, according to Soggy's logic, if a famous celebrity gets like accused of something, and then, you know, you have all those news sites saying Kanye accused of X thing, apparently they're just not allowed to do that. Apparently they're just not allowed to report on any allegations ever. Like, that's literally the job of the news, to report what's happening. Okay, he says 70% is the other person's video, but if you watch my videos, you know the majority of it is me talking, and I use clips to portray certain context that I need to explain in the video, obviously. So just some subtle manipulation there, implying that I'm somehow like borderline fair use videos, when obviously if you watch my videos, most of the videos I'm talking the most.
Slop channels like this, well, they don't respect the viewer's free time whatsoever. Why are we now averaging a 20-minute video length on content that could have been less than 2 minutes long without losing any of the informative or entertainment value?
Yeah, right after this, he releases a 1.5 hour long video that he spent months on and still got half the shit wrong and didn't disclose that he was paid by one of the parties. Okay, let's move on to the second video. I wasn't originally going to cover that first one, but people keep referencing the lies made in that video. So in this video, he actually ends up exposing Dogpack for some of the things he got wrong.
So in this video, I will be debunking close to every accusation.
Okay, spoilers, he debunks some of the stuff after getting insider info that we didn't have access to, but a lot of the stuff, he's like, well, MrBeast employee said this, therefore it is correct, when it's just a he said, she said. Like, people lie, obviously. Dogpack can lie, and the MrBeast employees can lie. So, you know, keep that in mind as we go through this. So the first thing was the Delaware thing.
When I was there, they called him Delaware. He's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware. That's his nickname? Colloquially? Like, you know.
Delaware was once a store manager at Jimmy's local Best Buy. So, as a dumbass, impulsive 19-year-old randomly thrown into fame, he went to his local Best Buy and asked its employees if they wanted to work for him. Naively thinking that a multi-billion-dollar company would have at least made sure to not hire criminals and especially to not hire a registered offender as store manager.
Okay, so it turns out in the initial video I made covering this, I already said that it sounds pretty far-fetched and it probably isn't true. But I gotta point out that just because this person was hired when Jimmy was young or whatever, he should have done background checks as the years went on, because that individual was being a star in videos watched by kids. Also, did nobody question this? So at the start, he says that there's plenty of videos where they didn't cover Delaware's face. Yes, obviously they didn't, because they didn't know he was an RSO. But then they randomly started covering his face. So why did they do that? Is that because they found out he was an RSO? Because then you should just remove him rather than cover his face. Don't you think so? I don't know. I'm, making speculation there, but I can't believe he didn't even mention that in the video. Like, everyone's like, oh, this is debunked. Like, what? I mean, good job by Soggy for pointing it out, but there needs to be some pushback as well, instead of just blindly believing everything what these employees say.
What about Jake the Viking's tweet about Jimmy's mom literally allowing her then barely of age son to knowingly be in contact with and hire a pedophile? First of all, have you thought about just how absurd that sounds? And second, Jake the Viking is a shitty person and untrustworthy. Even Dogpack's friends agree on that.
I mean, we also know that MrBeast's team, at least some members, are definitely shady and untrustworthy as well. So what, do you not listen to both sides? Again, it's a he said, she said, and even this person is not sure. It says, I don't think Jimmy or his mom knew when they hired him. I really don't think Sue would knowingly let. It's a think. It's like, I'm not sure, you know, I'm just guessing here. You know, I hope that that's not the case. So it's not debunking. This is not called debunking. This is literally like, hey, maybe. Then he talks about the Jake Weddle part, and this kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Falsely accusing someone of committing war crimes against the Geneva Convention in a consented to solitary confinement challenge where you'd earn $10,000 a day and can quit whenever you want and still keep the accumulated prize money up until that point. Oh, wait.
And I go up to my friend, my good friend. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. Oh, good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing.
The war crime stuff was 100% a joke. I'm now a producer, but I was originally hired as comedy writer with Jake Weddle, so I just wanted to cheer him up with a dumb and edgy joke. And then after making those slanderous claims, accept another $50,000 from Jimmy with no strings attached.
Okay, this part again, in my first video covering it, I literally said it probably doesn't fall under the definition of war crime. I personally don't think it's a war crime, because obviously you have to be in a war for that to qualify. But I don't like the way Soggy did this, because you may think Jake Weddle is a complaint box and ungrateful person, but Jimmy apologized to him for like the mental stress it caused or whatever, and then he paid him the rest of the money. I mean, if he's really innocent, stand by it and don't pay him shit or apologize at all. You know, stand on business there. Again, Soggy doesn't know what happened there. He wasn't there. He's just guessing here. This is not evidence, okay? And just because he said the war crime thing was a joke, that is a passing comment that nobody cares about, all right? It doesn't mean Jake didn't go through something horrible. There was the element of pressure and money that we were talking about as well. This is a random comparison, but it's kind of like abusive boyfriend, like, oh, he's hitting you, just leave. It's easy, just leave. Like, why would you stay with him in a relationship if he's hitting you? Just stop complaining and leave, right? Obviously, it's not that simple. You know, there's certain pressures, there's certain intimidation factors. You can be financially reliant, etc., etc. So it's not that simple. And him just saying that that war crime thing was a joke doesn't change any of Jake Weddle's experiences or whatever. Now, you can choose not to believe him, but just say, I don't believe him, instead of saying it's definitively false.
But just as I will rip into Jimmy later in this video.
Spoilers, by later, he means the absolute end of the video. He does like 4 minutes at the end of a 1.5 hour long video. I mean, MrBeast loved this video. He was convinced Soggy is completely on his side. He started sending it off to everybody. So yeah, then he moves on to the illegal lotteries allegation.
So even in the re-upload he found, it says that there's a free entry option. Yet he still doctored up this fake UI to make his intentional lies more convincing. Nah, I'm just kidding. Funniest part is that MrBeast verbally says it on stream.
Go shopmrbeast.com, buy the shirt or hoodie. You could be one of the people that come down and compete in the video. There's also a free entry on the site as well, if you just...
However, I do agree that it's very scummy and manipulative advertising in my opinion. Finally found some proof that the first illegal lottery was in fact illegal. There was no purchase necessary in the description. Feel like it might have been a mistake. I don't know.
Okay, so basically he says that some of the lotteries found were not illegal and there was the free giveaway, but also he said that he found one that was illegal. And you also have to consider that the MrBeast team was engaging in a cover-up, wiping these clips off the internet, deleting them left and right off like Facebook and stuff as well. So that definitely says something about they were trying to hide at least something in there.
Being deceitful here? Because he's comparing a single serving size 43 grams Hershey's bar to a 2 serving size 60 grams Feastables bar, instead of comparing it to a 1 serving size 35 grams Feastables bar.
Okay, he keeps addressing the most insignificant allegations that nobody cares about. This was such a minor point. And also, he's talking about the wrong point. It's not about comparing the Hershey's to the Feastables. The problem was changing the Feastables formula, which he did. Nobody cares about the comparison to Hershey's. Nobody gives a shit about serving sizes. People take the bar and they eat the goddamn bar. All right, that's how children work. All right, I don't know if you're that psychopath who cuts your bar in half, stores half in the fridge or something.
Here's footage of them digging the pit. You know what? Here's a crew member's footage of the 2 non-CGI buses and non-CGI train being in the pit after they drove them in there.
Shredder is CGI.
Nope, at this timestamp they do shred an actual Lamborghini in a legitimate shredder.
Nobody said they didn't do that. He just said that particular thing was CGI, which I don't know if it was. I mean, it looks different from the real thing you showed, so maybe some editing was going on there to exaggerate the effect. But again, I highly doubt people actually care about this stuff. People want to focus on the serious allegations, but Soggy just focuses on this dumb shit. But basically, throughout these points, Soggy insinuates that MrBeast is not faking these videos, but then there are clear instances of shady things happening, like he'll go to New Zealand into the Waitomo glowworms caves, which takes like a 45-minute tour to finish, and then he'll title the video, he's stranded in a cave for days as a challenge, which is just stupid, obviously. So aren't about that, but after this, I make an appearance.
Every other commentary YouTuber did it without getting sued. Even though just because a lot of YouTubers tried milking the situation and threw unsubstantiated, easily disprovable accusations out there for clout, views, and money without getting sued.
So you might be wondering, why is that part blurred, the part where he scrolls through my videos? That's because I confronted him in private about this, about him constantly lying about me, and then I told him to remove it, and then he said he can't remove it for like the flow of the video or something, so he just blurred it, which, you know, I do appreciate it, whatever, but, you know, I still gotta point out, like, he's clearly talking about me, everybody knows it, and everybody saw it before it got blurred. So first off, I absolutely cannot get sued. You can't sue someone for reporting someone else's allegations when you had no idea if it was true, and you explicitly never said that it was true. Now, can Dogpack be sued? Maybe, probably, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I know for sure my videos are clean. Now, after this, he goes over the Dogpack and Rosanna Ivanka Trump thing, where basically they accuse like Ava and maybe MrBeast to be in like a work chat, and they were spreading these images that were illegal, but obviously it came out to be false, and obviously I did not cover this in length because, you know, I knew it was absolutely egregious.
Dogpack 404 claimed to have access to leaked work chat messages, with one of them being...
Okay, this part's pretty long. Basically, they got the whole thing wrong. Dogpack messed up super bad there. That was a ridiculously bad allegation. It should have never been made, and pretty much everybody agrees on that. And, you know, good job on Soggy for calling that out as well. Pretty much everybody called him out for that. That was just ridiculous, and that's the point where it went too far, and that's why I guess this video needed to be made by someone.
This behind-the-scenes video, you can even see how many cameras they had to make sure the challenge wasn't rigged.
So we could constantly monitor it. This is the kind of stuff we don't normally show.
Okay, so again, this is what I'm talking about. This is not evidence. Monitoring people with cameras doesn't mean it's not rigged. Maybe they're monitoring it to influence it in some way. You can't just 100% trust what people are saying. You always have to have a little bit of nuance and speculation here.
I also used this video as a prime example of MrBeast never using random subscribers, even though multiple people who can be identified by their nameplate can be proven to be random, non-influencer contestants from outside of North Carolina.
Okay, Dogpack using the word never was super stupid because obviously everyone knows that some are random, okay? The problem is mixing random contestants with employees and friends that could potentially make the challenge unfair. Okay, that has not been debunked.
Me and Dawson were cordial, but I will say it was a little uncomfortable with just me and him in the office. He seemed pretty disinterested. He gave weird vibes for sure. Yeah. And
literally, what is the point of any of this? You've barely asked anything relevant at all. Okay, how did you feel about Dawson? Who cares if they hate him or like him? They're on MrBeast's side and Dawson is not. Of course, they don't like him. My question is, why did Soggy need to fly out for this? Couldn't this have been done through like video call or something? Because this interview doesn't look like anything special at all. So I'm just confused. They just gave the guy a free vacation to make a defense video and basically used him to spread it out to everybody. Like, he got actually just used.
No doesn't mean no is wildly taken out of context, I think, in this situation, because in the way that we mean it, it's a sales tactic. It's like
literally everybody knew this already. Everybody pointed it out. It is not new information. Like, I specifically pointed that out as a point in the video. Like, no means no is not referring to women or whatever. It just happens to be an inconvenient set of words there.
I heard a rumor circulating that Dawson told you that your food was trash.
So they're saying that Dogpack said that a chef's food is bad. This is so relevant to the allegations. Give this guy Content Cop of the Year award. What is this debunking? I'm so confused. Then he moves on to the eye surgeries thing.
Helping 1,000 people see for the first time. And they claimed that the MrBeast company
hadn't paid for any of the surgeries.
Yeah.
We worked with that third party, and that third party, I don't know what communication error happened between them, and they've put out a video since talking about it.
Okay, so again, this is not a debunking. They didn't pay them for 8 months. You can say it's a miscommunication, you can say whatever, but that's still bad. That's really bad that they tried to reach out so many times and it took 8 whole months to get paid. Like, imagine your boss pays you a salary after 8 months after you try to contact him several times, and then at the end he's like, oh yeah, no harm done. Like, what? Then he had a very short segment of MrBeast criticism at the end.
So yeah, go check CoffeeZilla's video on that once it releases. Stop the collabs with Logan Paul.
Amazing, not mentioning Chris or any of the serious allegations, and you wonder why MrBeast is parading around your video to everyone. But yeah, anyways, that's it. Looking forward to the interview tomorrow with MrBeast. We'll definitely be covering that. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.